Welcome to day 97 in our Bible study of chronological order. This is short and sweet, and obviously there's always something that I want to share with you about what you're reading. Ruth is a story that takes place supposedly during the time of the Judges, and it kind of explains that in the first chapter. And Naomi, Ruth is Naomi's mother-in-law. Naomi is Ruth's mother-in-law, and Naomi's husband dies, and then her boys die, and so she has these daughter-in-laws, and the one daughter-in-law goes back to her land, but Ruth pledges to stay with her, and in so doing, she is invited into the Israelite area, and eventually Boaz takes her in and becomes her husband. And why is that important? And this is what I've been trying to get to you from times in the past, is your lineage is extremely important. So I'm going to share with you just a little bit about this. And I've shown many different lineages online before, and it's really quite interesting how the line goes. And if you could just take the time as you read through your Bible to write a lineage. Some of the stuff you can leave off, but it's important to note what the most important things are and where they come from. You could read Matthew 1. I'm going to read part of this here, just a short part, and then we'll be done. But there are amazing things that happen, and it also puts things in perspective as far as time. Our timeline is perfect. God's timeline is perfect, and we need to make sure we have that. So 2 things are extremely important when we're doing these studies. Your family lineage, watch what happens and how things are related, and secondly, the timing of everything. It is extremely important. So who was Boaz? Well, we start with Adam, we go down to Noah. We go from Noah and we go on down, we get Abraham. Abraham has Isaac. Isaac has Jacob. Jacob has one of his sons, Judah. Judah is the father of Perez and Zerah. Perez was the father of Hezron. Hezron was the father of Ram. Ram was the father of Amminadab. Amminadab was the father of Nahshon. Nahshon was the father of Salmon. Salmon was the father of Boaz. So there's about 8 generations there from Judah. Remember, they were in captivity for 400 years in Egypt. And there's 300 years of when they're out of from the Exodus to the time that they're in their land. So there's 700 years from the time of Judah and Joseph and their brothers, and you got 8 generations or so. And remember that people aren't having kids necessarily when they're 20 or 30 like we do today. Sometimes they were having kids in their 50s and 60s. It all depends on what was going on, because men would marry women who were younger and they would have children, and men can do that when they're older. So you have to divide the years out there. But if you're looking at a lineage, if you're writing down the timeline and the lineage, it makes sense about where we're at with Boaz. And if you follow that down, it goes all the way down to Jesus. So that's in Matthew 1 if you want to know where that's at. And that is day 97.